children! So today I am presenting you my disgusting hair. I have a wonderful combination of both thin, fine, and overall very non-existent hair. All this, it's a lie. It's just so naughty it looks voluminous. So it's been about 4 days now since I've washed my hair. It is at a very questionable point. Like, dry shampoo is not going to save this anymore. There's no hope. So for those days where you might also just need to get your hair out of your face, I am presenting you with 3 different hairstyles that you can do when your hair is gross. For this first look, we're gonna actually be flashing back to 2007 with a sock bun. So for those of you that may not have been around, take an old sock that is clean despite how it looks. I promise you my hair is dirtier than this sock, so I don't fear anything. What you're going to do is literally just cut the toe off of it. Wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And you may end up wanting to actually cut more of this off, just depending on how thick your hair is or like the color of it. What you're gonna do with your sock is actually just roll this up into a nice little donut. Wow! You also arguably just could go buy one of these for real, but you know, reduce, reuse, recycle. So with this very fancy accessory on hand, what I'm going to do is brush as much as my hair will allow. We are going to be doing a very high bun. All these hairstyles you will notice involve just getting your hair as out of your face as they possibly can. So when you're pulling your hair up though, you do want to leave a nice little chunk. It doesn't have to be super thick, but a nice little chunk at the bottom. Once you have your nice high ponytail, this weird other horsehair, tie that up into a nice high ponytail on the top of your head. So with this classy accessory, what you're going to do, pull your hair through the middle, pop this under there, and then actually roll it down, separating your hair to cover said donut until it is all the way on top of your head, preferably in front of a mirror, and check the back and just make sure everything is actually covered. But oh, what do I do with this weird hunk? This is where we get fancy. Taking this piece, I like to just give it a good brush to try and smooth out any potential problems, even though we all know I'm gonna have at least one lump. And then with a couple of bobby pins easily accessible, you're gonna split that hair that's down the back in 2, and you're going to pull this left side up and over and actually just around your little bun. And then bobby pin it down. And then, surprise, surprise, you're gonna take the right side and pull this over and around the left. On my hair, this isn't a super notable difference, but if you had darker or thicker or even just like multicolored hair, this would stand out a lot more and just gives it a little bit more jazz and pizzazz. And then on the front, go ahead and pull some pieces out if that's what tickles your fancy. And you're done. This is the final look. Wow. Alright, moving on. De-donut yourself, although don't get rid of it just yet because we are going to be using it again. So for look number 2, we're going to use some pretty similar principles. On this round, you could part your hair if you wanted to, or just continue slicking it back, but I think I will part mine because I'm crazy. So with all of your hair pulled to the back of your head, you're going to separate this into 2 chunks, one of which being like 1/4 of your hair and then just the rest. So with the larger chunk, you are going to pull this into a ponytail just a little bit higher than the nape of your neck. You're going to do the same thing as the first look, pulling this till the donut is fully covered. Wow, what a lovely lump. And then lastly, with this nice little piece over here, what you're going to do is grab all of this and lay it against your head at this part as much as you can. And actually just pull it around and over top of that piece of sock. And then I would try tucking it under here and just with your hand hold this and then try and move the hair around to cover this piece. And then once it's covered, just go ahead and bobby pin that little tail under there. And it might take a little bit more pinning and adjusting just to make sure there's not a giant piece of sock showing through. But once you're done, you should have this nice swoop into a swirl. And lastly, I just like to go ahead and pull a couple of pieces out, but overall I think this looks a lot fancier than it really is, especially since your hair is so disgusting. But it still keeps everything away from your face and is quite secure. And for our third and final look, oh god, there's still a bobby pin in there, you may set your donut aside. This look is my favorite if you have A, no time, or B, no hair talent whatsoever. Again, you could part your hair however you want for this. Personally, I kind of like actually slicking all of it back, especially when my hair is at this point. It's like the best way to hide it is to just make it look like I'm bald. So with all of your hair pushed back, you're going to take a small piece of hair from both the left side and the right side and just very loosely bring these together into kind of just a sad half ponytail. This does not need to look good. Really what's more important is that you have room in between the actual ponytail holder and your head. So taking this piece, you are going to flip it over and through. Then, taking separate pieces from each side, you are actually going to pull these also over and through. And if your hair is longer, you will end up looping this. When I begin this, I take small strands and do this correctly, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then I end up getting bored and my arms hurt, and I just kind of end up shoving pieces in. Just keep shoving, kids. Just loop-de-doop-de-boop. This will take some touching, but just keep shoving things in there until they feel secure and you like how it looks. I find that my hair actually stays like this pretty well, so I usually just leave it as is, but if you do more extracurricular activities or you're just afraid that the wind will blow, feel free to bobby pin this down, but I usually find it to be fine. Like, look at me go. Look at me. But to address this front bit, I do like to use just a little bit of product. You could use a hairspray or a gel. This is kind of like a gel. This is a smoothing balm from Wella. This is their flowing form. I like to just take a tiny bit of this and kind of just like run it through my hair. It just kind of helps that everything will actually stay. Sometimes what I'll do is I will take pieces and pin them down just so that the top has a little bit more volume and the sides are down a little bit more. I feel like it makes me look less like a president of the United States. And also I think it helps to just pull out a couple pieces so that it looks like, oh, things naturally fell into place. But again, if you don't want to deal with this, you could just part your hair and then problem would be solved. But yeah, this is the last of those 3 looks. I hope that you enjoyed and you have a great time covering up your hair or just using these at any point. But yeah, that's everything for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Go make a donut, edible or not. Clean the hair dye out of your shower and have a nice day. Bye. Thank you for watching.
Consider this an invitation to my gangster name.